Yeah, right. Sorry. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
From the Harold Jaffe Jeweler Studio, welcome to Love My 419. I'm Clint Hazlett. This is Danny Lee, Steve Remy, Lee Renee, and Marissa Milian. Today on the show...
Is anyone concerned about military involvement in the sky?
And if you have family in Russia, let them know that the next move is to exit.
Today in The Parent Trap, what to do when discipline styles collide.
We'll be right back to get into it all and much more, Northwest Ohio. This is Love My 419.
Love My 419 is brought to you by Harold Jaffe Jewelers. Without them, there is no Love My 419, and without Love My 419, how would you know about all the wonderful people, places, businesses and things that make up the 419? So stop into Harold Jaffe Jewelers anytime, Monday through Saturday, and let them know how much you appreciate them for bringing you the quality television like Love My 419. They're awesome. You're awesome. Thank you for watching Love My 419.
Here at Harold Jaffe Jewelers, whether it's a small repair on a family heirloom or changing the battery in your watch, appraisals for insurance, on-premise repair and manufacturing, we're Harold Jaffe Jewelers, one of a kind.
Back to Love My 419. I'm Danny Lee. This is Clint, Marissa, Leah, and Steve.
This segment is brought to you by Bassett Nut Company, formerly Rachel Michaels Popcorn.
So you guys, we have some stuff that's happening in our world,
Oh, yes.
in our skies, that's very concerning to everybody, particularly Americans now. There are some objects, I wish I could tell you what they are, that are being shot out of the sky by our military, and it's happening a lot now.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What's going on?
Well, is this something that's just all of a sudden happening, or what I'm hearing is this has always happened? It has been due to restrictions in the airspace starting in Canada, and now we're seeing more of it. But this has been going on before.
I'm hearing that it's happened before, but obviously no shoot downs, and now China's saying that we're doing the same thing to them. Kind of volleying back and forth as to who's responsible for what and who's doing what, but it's happening over our skies now, and that doesn't happen all the time. We're not used to that in our world right now on U.S. Airspace. And so that's happening. They had to close airspace over northern Lake Huron recently, and they scrambled jets and they followed this object and they went to shoot it down. Now, I know this, our military is the best in the world. The first Sidewinder missile missed, which
You had one job.
you had one job. $400,000 a piece. These Sidewinders missed, and we're shooting at an object that we have yet to hear what it really is.
Right.
That's concerning to me.
That's
And
crazy.
That's
I
messed
think
up.
they know what it
And
is.
so now is the military and the government saying that this has something to do with the big balloon that they believed was
That's what sparked everything.
over by the
And
Chinese.
now there's another one and another one. And how much more will we see this happen over our skies without us knowing all the information?
Yeah, it's very scary.
Well, like the first balloon, like it literally hovered.
Allegedly the first one.
Yes.
It was in the it hovered. It was in the sky for like quite a long time before the administration decided to shoot it down.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, they've just recovered like the box. So how much? And they said this actually was a surveillance balloon. So sent by China, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But how much information? I mean, do they have?
Yeah.
Well, let's think this through. We're not really concerned about that information because you don't know what else happens that week. There's an award. We've got Beyonce getting her award. We've got LeBron setting a record. There's all kinds of other
Rihanna's
information.
pregnant.
Rihanna's
Yes.
pregnant. There's all kinds of other information we'd rather hear, right? And
Yes.
so let's just put this shooting objects out of the sky.
It's been distracting.
Yeah,
They
this
don't
is
want
kinda
us to
strange.
know everything anyways.
Yeah, everyone's very distracted right now with the news and what's been going on. So I do feel like some of the focus has been taken off of some of the essential things, correct?
Yeah, if there was nothing else in the news, then this would be a big hot item. But
Yes.
Wow.
hello, this is pretty close to us.
And essential. Just as essential as me getting my Taco Bell.
Tell us about that.
Absolutely.
Come on now.
There's a story behind
Okay.
this.
Please.
There's this, okay.
On
okay.
Front Street.
On
We
Front
have
Street.
to start
How
there.
long do you wait for fast food?
According to your timer, Steve, how long did you wait?
10 minutes and 26 seconds.
Were they apologetic?
No!
Well, yeah.
I don't eat Taco Bell. Can't spell Taco Bell.
So it wasn't even for you. Steve.
Wasn't even for me. It was for a friend. I would get in the line and I put the timer on. 10 minutes and 26 seconds.
Wow.
And then I got up there. I showed her the phone and the timer. And she's like, oh, well, you could have went to another restaurant. I said, oh, no. Don't
You
let
never
me.
told us that part.
Yeah, I didn't get that part.
That was important information.
That was the
for
best
us.
part of
I
the
was
story.
about to put that car in park and jump out that car.
I just want to let everybody know this is hot stuff in the 419. This is hot. Wedged between blowing things up in the sky and now U.S. citizens being advised to get out of Russia.
Yes.
This has been going on for a while, for at least a year.
Yes.
Well, why do we think that's amped up now? Why do we think that's...
And just going back to the whole balloon thing, I mean, they're assuming that this stuff is coming from China, and they're all focused on the Chinese.
Right.
How do you know the Russians haven't sent that over here?
Well, this started in Alaska, which is not far from the Russian border.
See what I'm saying?
We're
Like,
speculating
I mean,
here, but
it's when you think about all these objects that are in the air that are being shot down by our military and our government, and then you think, okay, this is what's going on in Russia. Now our U.S. embassy is telling Americans, if you live or reside or are even just here traveling, get out now and don't travel here. And like Marissa said, their debit cards and credit cards are not working. You cannot transfer funds. There's, I mean, how scary would that be, being an American citizen in Russia right now, and the U.S. Embassy is flat out telling them, listen, we can't help you. We're limited, we're limited in our ability. We're severely limited due to staffing limitations, travel restrictions. They're saying we can't help you. So your best bet is to get out. And I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine.
not a good time to plan a tour of Russia.
I don't know. It's a scary time.
Well, as we talk about things that are going on locally, Ford's going to build a battery plant in Michigan, Steve.
Yes, so $3.5 billion investment to build a lithium iron phosphate battery plant in Michigan. So Bill Ford, who's the executive chair, said it was a unanimous decision to build this in Detroit. It's going to provide up to 2,500 different jobs.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
That's awesome.
It's kind of
I mean,
exciting.
that's
Ford.
Ford is, Detroit. Ford is a staple in Detroit.
Yes.
I couldn't imagine them, doing that anywhere else. What exactly is this battery plant? I mean, what do you mean when you say battery plant?
Because right now the push is to have all automobiles go electric.
Yeah.
So this is going to forward
that movement.
that
Okay,
movement towards
awesome.
getting it
I
there.
love it.
Kudos to the Midwest, because you've got that huge investment
man.
with Nextel in just outside of Columbus. It's the largest investment in the United States, and now you have this. So Midwest
Doing
is sitting
major
real
things.
pretty
Yes.
right now.
And lots of jobs.
I have a friend who oversees some of the electric car, fabrication in Detroit, and he said his team and his staff was only a small portion, a fraction of the teams that were there at the factory. Now, that was years ago. Now, with this electric car craze happening, it's like 80% of his team is devoted to the battery operated.
Well, good for them to think, but you wonder. I mean, this push is going on.
Yeah.
How ready will our infrastructure be? That's the question.
Well, and that's another question that he did answer for me, and maybe on another show we'll be able to tackle that one. So we'll be back after this break, guys.
So thank you again for all coming out, and I'll send it over to Mr. Bell.
Well, I'm here because I was here the first time we opened this place, and it was unbelievable then, and that Rachel is so committed to this community. I just had to come back for a second time. Let's start over again. 1, 2, 3. Somebody is putting a business in this community. It's important to be there just because this helps create the economic growth that helps other people inside our community. So I want to thank Rachel for her commitment to this city. and for what she's doing and her no quit attitude. You did that, Marvel. You must have practiced. You practiced last night.
So it's been a wonderful, wonderful arrangement. And then now it's Rachel Michaels merged with Bassett Nut. But that's kind of how it all came together.
Yes. Starting again. Yeah. We're rebranding. We're expanding. It's going to be amazing. So, corporate orders, get them in, please. Please, please, please. It's getting crazy already. So, bring in the corporate orders as soon as possible.
Thanks for being with us. This is Love My 419. I'm Clint. This is Danny, Steve, Leah, Marissa, and let's talk 419 Nation.
This segment is brought to you by Monroe Auto Service and Tire on the corner of Talmadge and Monroe.
You guys, our heart goes out to the people of Turkey right now. I mean, we laugh a lot on our show and have a good time. There are some serious things going on in Turkey right now. About 25,000 people have died due to this earthquake. And, the numbers continue to rise. How would you feel if you had a family member that was literally stuck in the rubble?
Helpless.
You see these people, you watch them celebrate as they bring another one out of the rubble. If that was you in your family, that alone melts my heart, just makes me so emotional to think about it. If that had to happen to my kid or my wife, anybody in my family, to be a father on the outside of the rubble, watching everybody else dig for your family.
Oh, the images are heartbreaking. I shared an image from CNN to my page, and it was of a man sitting outside the rubble. His daughter had already died. She was crushed, and he was just holding her hand. And that literally brought me to tears. Like, I can't even imagine sitting there knowing, like, my child is just dead and gone, and he was just sitting there, like, holding her hand. And that image went viral, and it was just heartbreaking. And there was another family, a whole family that had got pulled out altogether, and I was just like, wow, I can't
it's a rarity to see the whole family be pulled out.
Yeah, that was amazing.
How about the mom who gave birth under the rubble? The baby was wrapped in the cord, and now that baby is the only family member that is alive.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
There's something about that child as that child grows older.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine what's
Yeah, that's a miracle baby for
that's
sure.
a special baby.
It is.
I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening in our world that aren't important to us. We can survive without the Grammys. We can survive without sports records and different things. And then we joke and we have a good time. But there are people whose lives are absolutely transformed, will never be the same again because of something they could not control.
Yeah.
And so we need to have a heart about all that. I know you guys do, and our friends in the 419 care, and we just need to think about this as we go about our daily business of what's really important to us.
Well, I think it was interesting that you said that too, because I know just like this past week, they were actually stopping the donations because they said they've had so
Many. I was going to ask how many
so
donate.
many. They said to actually stop it because they said they can't keep up with it.
Wow.
So I mean, if you're going to take a positive note out of anything,
that's definitely the silver lining.
Thank you, America, for helping.
That's great. And in the news from the Michigan State campus this week, there was a shooting and there were 3 fatalities and 5 injured. This really hits home. It's close to us. We have good friends that are on the campus. What do we know, you guys?
And well, we know that our producer, his stepdaughter, goes there and was in the in the thick of it. So we're happy that she's safe and okay. And it's just sad. They were saying there was a lot of just things being thrown out there. Oh, there's 4 shooters. There's this. There's
and
that.
that always happens. You don't know. There's a lot of speculation. There were a few days or a few hours where the shooter was still at large, and we were more concerned about all the people we knew there, our family members. You had once again.
It seemed like they kind of called it fast.
Yeah.
Really it seemed like they went ahead and said it was done very quickly.
Good.
I don't
Did they
know
send the children
if
home? Did they send it? Is everybody out?
They closed the campus.
Well,
they canceled classes. Said stay away from campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's pretty.
Well, I mean, and I'll be honest. I mean, I heard it, I saw it, I watched it, and I was like, Okay, again.
Right.
I mean, like I've actually,
It's
I'll be honest,
crazy.
I've grown numb to it. I was like, I hear it, it's like, okay, sorry that happened. There's going to be, what's the change?
Okay, so
What's-
this is this year I saw a statistic that said this is the most mass shootings there has been since January 1st.
I believe it.
That's horrible.
I think we're in the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really ahead of schedule. It's really high.
What is the answer?
I mean, I feel like mental illness is obviously. It adds up. I mean, people that aren't mentally ill, they're not going out and doing things like this.
This is,
So,
mental illness, guns, people in general. And we can't control people.
Yeah.
It's just a rough scenario to think about in our heads, and we take it for granted. We
Yeah.
become desensitized to these kind of crazy things that happen.
Yeah.
If that would have happened 10 years ago, it's just, everything just stops.
Yeah.
Now it's just another piece in the news, and it's unfortunate. And there were people that lost their lives. And
Yeah.
shift our focus. The pilot shortage. Danny, what do you know about a pilot shortage that's happening right now?
actually, I have seen that there is a pilot shortage, but the other issue is now they're having an issue with mechanics as well.
That's not
So from
good
what
at
I was reading, 35% of the mechanics on the airplanes are between the ages of like 55 to 65, like around that range. So they're blaming ages and people retiring on both shortages. But it brings up like another issue when it comes to the pilot, like because there's so many that are short. I did read that they are trying to like be proactive and they're canceling these small flights. That they've been like,
smart.
if you've noticed, there has been a lot of flight cancellations.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. So that's something that they're trying to do. But at the end of the day, do you guys really want overworked pilots flying you?
No.
Absolutely
So,
not.
or do you want like mechanics also that are rushing to get from plane to plane? So it's like, it is definitely like a domino effect.
I'll be honest with you. You just put this one just add that one to the airline issues that are happening these days
Right.
with out-of-date planes, out-of-date radar. Now we're talking out-of-date pilots.
Out-of-date flight attendants.
Flight
You see
attendants.
some
Go
of 'em?
figure. Ooh, see?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Steve!
Hey, but
I'm just
So
saying.
one of you guys posted an interesting question because we were talking about. I think it was you, Danny. Said these pilots, they're calling in sick. Like they don't want to go up in the air and be shot down. You know, I mean, it's a lot going on. It's a scary time.
That's true.
I don't know if I'd want to be flying any plane right now.
No,
a lot
or be
going
on a
on.
plane going far.
Okay.
it hasn't been a good few years for the airline industry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
right.
down. It's like if you were a pilot, would you want to get on a flight and fly people across the world when things are being shot out of the sky? I don't think I would.
I don't even want to travel
I
far.
wonder if that goes hand in hand at all.
When we return, more 419 stories you need to know.
Here at Harold Jaffe Jewelers, whether it's a small repair on a family heirloom or changing the battery in your watch, appraisals for insurance, on-premise repair and manufacturing, we're Harold Jaffe Jewelers, one of a kind.
Sometimes I look into the mirror and I see my mother.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
She's passed some important things to me over the years.
Harold Jaffe, no one else compares. Harold Jaffe Jewelers, one of a kind. Always has been, always will be.
A bit like my mom.
And a bit like my daughter.
Someday, my daughter will look into the mirror.
Thank you for watching Love My 419. It's time for Parent Trap.
Brought to you by the Social Butterfly.
So you guys, how do you parent? Let's talk about this.
Lord.
Do you have clashes with your parenting with your spouse or your
You can say child's father. We're not offended.
Okay.
Baby daddy.
I will not be saying that.
I did not say that. Do you ever clash with your parenting skills or lack thereof? How's that go? Do you guys have clashes with your spouse or parents of your children?
Look at they're ready. They
So-
look at
Do
us.
this.
They're
I
ready.
have a different experience, I would say, than everyone else. We actually do things the same. I don't know if it's because we were together since he was like 19 when we met, so we kind of like grew up together. But the same rules apply at both houses. So if she's in trouble at my house and she's grounded at his house. If she's grounded at his house, she's grounded at
Makes
my
sense.
house. If I take her phone, he's taking it too. Like if she's mean to me or disrespectful to me, he's going to have a talk with her, and it's vice versa. So it's like we're on the same page, and now I've noticed that like Mia is a lot more respectful than other girls her age because of the fact that me and him do everything the same, and she doesn't see him disrespect me. So therefore, like, she doesn't think it's okay.
That makes a major difference.
It does. It makes a big difference because I am also a step parent, and I see parenting that's different from each other, and then it's like trying to break habits and like it's very confusing for them. It doesn't benefit them to do things differently. So, but yeah, I'm very lucky. So
and we're younger moms, so it's like we get this day and age. It's just different. You have to I tell my kids, I'm your parent, I'm your mom first, but I am also your friend. But we all, I think, have the, that thing
closeness.
where, the closeness, but sometimes it's a very thin line. It's like, you don't want to be that strict parent all the time. And I don't want my kids to hate me. I want them to love me. And I want, but my mom is like, no, there's certain things that happen. And she's like,
she old school, isn't she?
Yeah,
she an OG, I know.
Her. And then I also have my daughter's other set of grandparents who are very instrumental in our lives. So they're, like you said, both sets of them are very old school. They're very by the book, and they're going to keep us all balanced,
Yeah, so with my daughter, when she was younger, I tried not to be like that best friend figure, even though I wanted to.
Yeah,
I knew when she got older, she would be my best friend because I knew she wouldn't respect me if I was, so I had to be harsh. Her dad wasn't really present when she was younger. He became present when she was older, so his style of discipline was different than mine.
Yeah.
It was just more scolding, and he has OCD, so it's more of his, you know what I mean? So she didn't really take to it. So I discipline totally different. So now with our son, who is on the spectrum, which I've mentioned before, it's totally different than how I discipline my daughter because he's not going to listen to you can't do that, or grounding. So you have to be educated on disciplining someone on the spectrum, which his father won't educate himself. So yes, we are always in combat, clashing about how to discipline our youngest. So yeah, it's stressful.
Well, we have 4 kids. They're all adults now, and what I've learned is that you parent how you were parented.
Yeah.
That's very
And
that's so true.
I
this
do.
generational thing is handed
do.
down, and so if you feel like you were parented roughly. It still seeps out of you and your parenting. So my oldest son will say that I've parented him differently than his youngest brother.
Wow.
And and I don't want to just get really kitschy phrases on you, but there's no dress rehearsal for parenting.
Oh my gosh.
And so
No
we
rule
learn.
book.
As you go, guys.
We learn as we go, and at times I have to apologize to my oldest. I disciplined him so harshly, and then his brother, then my daughter,
it's
my
less
daughter,
and
my daughter, and then I'm
Oh,
like,
for
man,
sure.
you let things slide a little bit.
Really?
It gets a little bit more verbal, and we talk it through. I used to it'd be like, push up, let's push up the wall. Let's do. I was rough. My dad was in the military. Everybody in my dad's family was military, and so my grandma, everybody,
you
the
were
way
drill
they did it.
sergeant.
Yeah, we'd have to go out and pick our own switch.
Yes,
come on now.
I was waiting to hear that.
Go pick a good
I was
one,
waiting.
right?
Don't
Yeah.
come back with a toothpick.
Right, exactly.
I know.
And you're going to sit there. She's going to hold the switch
Yeah.
until you eat all your food.
Yeah.
But I kind of lighten up a little bit. Now my kids might have a whole different
You are
perspective.
also grandpa.
Yeah,
And
so
I am going
yes.
to take this out on you because I am thoroughly upset that my dad is such a marshmallow with my daughter because Larry Dale, I did not get that treatment.
Okay,
And
my
now,
grandson is 3 years old. My other one is
See?
5 months, almost 6 months old. And there's another one coming. And it's like,
you're softer than Charmin, Clint.
I am mush when
And
they're
you know
around.
what? For me, it's kind of like the opposite because I tell my mom, I feel like I parent just like my mom.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, it's easy for you now because you're in grandmother
Right.
stage to be like, this. I said, but you were exactly how I was. Like I had a friend in my mother, but at the same time, she didn't take no stuff.
Me and my parents were like this.
My mom was throwing slippers at me.
Me too.
Exactly.
So I'm doing the opposite now. I'm trying
Mine
to be
was
nice.
it was a platform Sketcher shoe.
She
and
knew
it
what
was,
kind of shoe.
Honey, it was lime green and it came out of the box. She went to throw the whole box and I was like,
Sole of the shoe keeps showing in the slow motion. Wow. So hey, we'll be back after this short break.
Welcome back one final time, Northwest Ohio. I am Leah. This is Danny, Clint, Marissa, and Steve.
Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know.
So luckily we are here to bring you guys the fun in the 419.
What's happening?
And I feel like we just had it.
Yeah,
we
fun
did.
Y'all missed it.
Okay, now y'all know not to go to the Taco Bell over there on Front Street.
No.
But you know what just opened, and I'm excited.
What?
So if you don't have any meals planned for the weekend, check out the Noodles on Monroe Street.
Noodles.
Just
I love
opened
Noodles.
up. Yes, just opened up. It's a new franchise out of Cincinnati.
Now, is
called
this like
Noodles.
specialty ramen noodles?
Specialty noodles. It's
love
just
them.
like
Is it
I love
ramen,
noodles.
or is it like
it's a mixture of
lo mein?
ramen and macaroni and cheese.
Wow.
Everything pasta. So
I'm
it's
so
Oh,
really
everything
cool.
pasta. So just like, you know,
Everything
like it's
pasta.
probably like
So
you're
much
Chinese
carbs.
American, you're Italian, you're this
Right,
and that. Oh, awesome.
right.
Noodle, huh?
Loves
Yeah,
it.
yeah, they might check your
that.
credit score because it ain't cheap. But anyway,
Oh.
anyway, we've got the 15th annual Toledo Golf Show going on at Tamashanner this weekend.
Yes.
Because spring will eventually be here, and we know how big golf is in our
Yes,
city.
it is.
Which also brings on bridal shows.
Bridal show.
That
So
time.
Yes.
all of you that got a little piece of jewelry this past week for Valentine's
Oh,
Day.
it was not this past
now
week.
Danny,
know.
you
didn't
got to
get
show
it?
that ring. When we talk about jewelry, you just got to show it.
Ow! Wow. Where's my foster grants? That's kind of bright over there.
This week?
So, closing remarks, you guys. Steve, we'll start with you.
Well, you know what? We're coming into tax season. Tax season. So I guess that's right. You know, there's a lot of good people that will handle your accounts going on in the city. But I mean, you know, think about taxes. I mean, it's coming up.
It is.
Ticking, tick, 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 tick.
Don't let that make you get into a relationship you don't want to be in.
Oh, keep your money, honey.
It won't
Honey,
last
don't
long.
believe his lies,
Don't
honey.
believe it.
Don't let him flip it, okay?
Right.
Any other closing remarks?
You know, I just want to say with everything going on in our world, like Clint said, I mean, there, you know, we laugh, we joke, we talk about all the fun things and funny things going on, but there are some real serious things going on in our world. So I just think, you know, whatever your spirituality is, whatever your higher
point.
power is, you know, really tap into that and make sure that your mind,
Good
your
point.
mental is good and stable because, you know, it's you just don't know what's ever going to happen in the world. So.
Yes. Yeah, like she said, you know, everything going on in the world, hug your loved ones, hug your children, be kind, and just be positive and just love the world.
Yeah. Danny?
So mine's a little different because this is how I think all the time. Either you run the day or it runs you.
Yes.
Ooh.
Loves it.
I love that.
Yes.
That's a Danny Lee statement, y'all.
That's
It
a
is.
boss statement.
All right. Well,
What
hey,
about you?
Yeah, Clint.
Well, you know what? Enjoy the weekend, 419.
Lots to do.
And if you're watching the replay on Sunday night, have a great week. We're so glad you joined us. We'll see you next time on Love My 419.